I'm Sam, and it's morning here in the Highlands, and looks like rain is coming. Can't see the mountain. There's a huge mountain over there, shrouded in cloud at the moment. The hillsides are turning the colour of autumn. Beautiful golden browns. Love it. Deep red. So beautiful. So I'm just at a friend's house looking after their dogs, and the dogs have been fed. I'm just waiting to take them out, and it's morning, and I thought I'd share some thoughts. You know, I'm changing, I'm healing, I'm really healing, and I'm 55, and my entire life, from the beginning, really, I was talking to someone the other day, and I was talking about what I thought was the worst of what I went through. They asked, and I thought it was, nearly 20 years of severe drug abuse and self-harm and eating disorders, broken relationships as an adult. But I realised, as I was sort of briefly touching on that, it was always like that. It was always like that. Always like that from the very beginning. And the distortions of abuse, they do twist you. They twist you. They twist you. And they contort your mind, and they contort your body. They twist you into knots. Mental, emotional, physical knots, because you're trying to make sense out of the incomprehensible wrongness of it all. And all of my life, I did that. From the very beginning, from my first memories, I did that. And those distortions, that inner feeling of wrongness and disgust and filth, what can you do with that? You have to try and compensate for it. You have to try and find a way to be with it. And I found a way to be with it from very young, and that was drugs and alcohol. I was drinking from 8 years old. Problems with food, even as a child. All to try and find some kind of soothing, something that felt okay. But more than that, the distortions of thought and behaviour, always apologising, always trying to manipulate, always trying to control, just to feel safe. And maybe I see it more clearly now, and I see more clearly that it's always been like that, because I am not like that anymore. And I feel clean. I feel clean. I still see the patterns and distortions. I still feel shame. I still feel the apology rising sometimes. I still feel the need to control, be safe. But it is like this big now. And we become the container. We become the container for the pain. It's too overwhelming as an infant, as a child, to even comprehend what it is you're experiencing. You can't process it. You have to split inside, and you split off a piece of yourself every time the overwhelm happens. And you become like a facade, a mess of strategies and performances and manipulations and a partial being, really. But inside us all, inside the mind and the body, we're containing everything. And so who you become is precisely who you need to be. So this person, for me in my 50s, it was always trying to sort myself out, always trying to fix myself, to fix this feeling of wrongness inside me. It's not possible. Not until you go deep inside and you find that pain and you acknowledge it, you validate what you invalidated as a child because you had to. You feel it, you express it. Something inside you completes. Your body is supposed to feel and release, feel and release. Not hold, feel and release. But we hold because it's too big to feel. So as adults, we feel and release. And when you release, when you feel, which has to be done gradually because it's too immense. Every time I've been, coming close to releasing in therapy, physical therapy, like somatic therapy, working with the body, not much talking. Every time I feel and I break apart and something gets connected inside and expressed, validated, released, and my nervous system just settles, I shut it down because it's too big. So I do that over and over again because it's just too huge to have to do it gradually. But as I do that, there's no need for me to be this twisted, contorted container. There's no need for me to hold. There's no need for me to manipulate. There's not even a need for me to feel safe. What does that even mean? There's no need for me to be certain. There's no need for me to keep telling stories. There's just no need for me to hold or resist. So the container that we become to hold everything inside us. And then we get so fucking fixated on fixing the container. Doesn't work. You have to empty the container. You have to feel everything that's contained within and empty. And then there's no need to be this contorted mess of distortions and compensations, trying to make sense out of something that you cannot make sense out of. The wrongness. And as I go through that, my posture changes. I become more upright. There is a correct alignment. There is a correct alignment of the body. And it just returns. The effort I used to put into trying to stand upright actually made it all worse because I was so tense in my body from the anxiety and pain. It became a physical manifestation and my body became twisted and I was using my muscles to try and straighten up and I couldn't. It just made it worse and worse and worse. Effort. As I empty that container and I feel the pain, my body just comes back into alignment and I stand up straight. But the alignment isn't just physical. It's mental, emotional, it's demeanor, comportment. It's psychological. So we can free ourselves from those distortions. And just as my body comes, my posture returns, my demeanor returns. Like I've never had it really, but I feel it. Like appropriateness. Like we have fuzzy, strange boundaries. We do inappropriate things because we don't know how to be. But you do know how to be. Innately, you have that knowledge. And so when we empty the container, validate those feelings, express them, allow our nervous system to settle, realign in correct posture, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we can just be what we have always been, but never allowed to be. We never allow ourselves. You know, there is qualities to being human. They're not more than human. I've said this in previous videos because it feels like as I align, I'm becoming more than human. Maybe through really, truly accepting ourselves in our wounded state, in our flawed state, terrified, distorted. There is a surrender. And from that point of surrender and just radical acceptance as you are right now, there's a relaxing. You're just surrendering to what is, and then change can happen. And you can begin to align with what you really are, which feels like it's more than human, but it isn't. It's just being human, which is ethical, moral, compassionate, upright. You don't need to force yourself to be fearless. You don't need to grit your teeth to be fearless. You don't need to bend over backwards to do the right thing and be kind and compassionate. When the fear begins to leave you, you are those things anyway, and the foundation of everything is love. The foundation of everything is love. So if you can't accept yourself and begin to be kind to yourself in your wounded, flawed state, where's the love in that? We're just perpetuating the abuse, constantly moving away from the center of who we really are. This effortless being, this correct alignment, this demeanor, this posture. And it feels maybe that's what it means to be sovereign. A sovereign being that can act responsibly, ethically, morally, to discern what's true, what's false, what's right and wrong. Because you're not scared anymore. You're not in it for yourself. You're not trying to manipulate and grasp to get needs met and to compensate for this abyss of sorrow inside you. You're just here. You're a human. Nothing to do, nothing to say. Just be that. Maybe that's the image of God. And it's not yours. You don't need to claim it. You don't need to achieve it. It's just what you are. And so, all my life, I struggled. All of my life. From my earliest memories, I remember being terrified and alone and ashamed and self-hating. All of my life, from my earliest memories. And I was always trying to work out what it all meant, why it happened. I think that all I can say is it's just the brokenness of the world. The brokenness passed down through the generations. There's no first cause. It's not my fault. It's nothing I did. It's nothing I am that invited it. Just being born. Becoming the focus of wounded people. But, as I began to wake up, and it's taken me 12 years to get to this point, and then, I know I say this periodically on this channel, it does feel like it's just beginning. Every day is a new beginning. Every breakthrough is a new beginning. Every release is a new beginning. And it does get easier. It does get easier. So, 6 months ago, a year ago, I couldn't have said this. I didn't feel this. 3 years ago, I didn't even know what healing was. 3 years ago, I was still drinking heavily, still self-harming. And I think as I began to feel You know, because what the reason that we don't want to feel is because that the immensity of the pain is overwhelming. The immensity of that distortion inside us that comes from abuse is just overwhelming. And we don't want to go near it. We don't want to feel that loss, that sorrow. And we think it's never going to go away. And maybe it doesn't. It just reduces. But when you begin to comprehend it all, I think for me anyway, I felt this fear because I thought, fuck, I'm 55. I don't want to die with all of this unresolved stuff. Imagine lying on my deathbed, if I'm lucky enough to die of old age. Imagine still carrying all this agony, still carrying this brokenness, still not being free from it, still being scared, still living with that distortion in my mind. And I was scared of that. But I'm not anymore, because I know it's not going to happen. I know that. I really know that now. And all my life I've been scattered, fragments in time. Those split off parts of me from the overwhelming trauma, just split off and scattered through the past, other parts of me into the future to try and, you know, be discovered when everything's okay. Just scattered through time. But I'm not like that anymore. I'm not living in a hope of a future. I'm not dragging the past into every single moment. I'm not digging around. I'm not trying to make sense of it. I'm not trying to look for meaning. I'm not holding. I'm not resisting. And I don't collapse down into identification with those fragments when they surface. So it's like trauma freezes parts of us and scatters them everywhere. And we have to unfreeze those parts by bringing them into ourselves and saying, this happened. This happened. And unfreezing those parts. And then just letting them go. And it is possible. I know that lots of people that watch these videos think it's not. And I didn't even know what healing meant. Really. What does it mean? I think it's about attachment and identification, really. What are you identifying as the core truth of who you are? Is it the trauma? Is it the compensating identity? What is it? Really, it's emptiness. So, I think that's it. I don't think I want to say anything else. Apart from this, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm publishing this video on Substack as well, because I'm starting another project. It's on Substack. And I've never, in the whole time I've done YouTube, I've never once asked people to subscribe or like my videos, ever. If you find your way here, then you're here for a reason. What I'm saying makes sense to you in some way. It may still be quite mysterious, and when I know that the words that I've used and the descriptions I've I've used to try and understand the pain that I was carrying and what happened to me, they were intuitively spoken from some deeper part of me. And over time, I've been saying the same thing for 5 years, but just understanding more and more clearly as I work my way back to reality from dissociation. Say, oh, these words are a lifeline. They mean something. Just intuitively. It's like poetry. Poetry means something, and we can't really condense it down into analytical minds, explanations. It just means something, speaks to our heart. And so if these videos mean anything to you at all, can you please subscribe on Substack? Because that's my new project. I'm still going to publish on YouTube, but I'm starting something new on Substack, and I would really love all the people that find something useful in my videos to come with me to Substack for this next part. It feels like that I've been on an arc on YouTube. I'm still going to keep publishing, still going to keep sharing, but I want to do something else. So there is a link below. Now, I have tried to use this link to go to Substack, and YouTube won't do it. I don't know whether it's just me, but YouTube won't let me do it. The Substack, the link is real, so you might have to copy and paste that and put it into a search bar and then go to Substack. But if you could go and follow me on Substack, and we'll see where the next part of this adventure goes. So yeah, I am rewriting a part of my website, so the website will be republished probably over the weekend. So if you need to get in touch, just go to that website, and there's a contact page there. If you want to support the channel, support what I do, you can always donate. It's the only way I monetize the videos on YouTube. It's through donations, and those people that donate are just you've all made such a difference in my life. Because over the last couple of years, as I've been, rebuilding, you've helped me make ends meet, and I really appreciate it. I really do try and provide something real and authentic and useful, and to give of myself. So thank you very much for supporting me, and go to Substack. I'll see you soon. Bye.